Well, welcome to this edition of the Black Madonna Speaks with me, your host and author, Stephanie Georgiev. And I thought we would offer a little counter to the very famous and much hyped Black Friday with an Advent with the Black Madonna. And this is a series of inspirational information, webinars, and daily meditations to help you journey through the season of Advent. And if you're like me, I really feel like this Advent is very profound. We're in a pivotal time in human history, and I think we need to focus on our spirits and our souls as we journey through this part of human history. So you're invited to journey with me during Advent with some of the world's most beloved Black Madonnas. For those of you who have been following me or reading my books and my writings, you know that I make several very interesting connections of most of the world's, at least European, Black Madonnas. And the connection that I make is the interesting timing and placement of these Madonnas. And the timing is interesting because many of these Madonnas came from Africa and also the Holy Land during the era of the Crusades, and they were placed in shrines along the Camino de Santiago de Compostela in all over Europe, but predominantly in Spain and France. But we have many, such as in Portugal and even off into Switzerland and Poland, Italy. But what's interesting about all of these Madonnas is that they're placed somewhere on the Camino de Santiago de Compostela. And the reason I find this interesting is because the Camino is what I see as a path of modern initiation. And the whole concept of initiation has really changed in the last 2,000 years. And it used to be you had to go off in isolation and be with a priest or a hierophant, and someone else would initiate you. But modern initiation is something we do to ourselves. So I think Advent is a good time to really contemplate on these amazing Black Madonnas along the Camino de Santiago de Compostela, and we're going to focus on that during the 24 days of Advent from December 1st through the 24th. Now, why is Advent interesting? And what does this have to do with initiation? Well, Advent is a time of becoming. And in the Christian community, the epistles during this time, there's a statement that is so profound, and it says, become. That's basically the statement. And not only is it a time where we're waiting for the birth of the Christ child, but in essence, we're also becoming ourselves. Advent is a time of waiting. It's also a time of trust, in spite of the evidence to the contrary. And I think with all that's going on in this time in human history, it's very difficult to trust in the outcome. And most of us are like, how's this going to turn out? And this is the exact same feeling that the world's people had in the weeks, years, and even centuries leading up to the birth of the Christ child. So this is a time of trust in goodness, of trust in miracles, and of deep, deep trust. Now, the Black Madonnas have a unique message for our times. And the reason I feel they have this is because they were flocking to Europe and being placed along the Camino during a specific time in human evolution. And it was basically from the millennium up through to the 1300s. And this period of time is a very, very profound period in human history all over the world, there were great changes happening. It doesn't matter what continent you look at. There were political changes. There were actually environmental changes. There were changes in institutions. And if you follow Rudolf Steiner and you read his writings, he says that this era was the time of the preparation for the age of consciousness soul, which is our current era. So I feel that these Madonnas have very important messages because of their timing and their placement. And it's very significant to look at these messages during Advent. The Camino de Santiago de Compostela is a path of modern initiation, filled with deep messages for our contemplation and encouragement. And I think if there's any message that these Madonnas have, because they were placed along the Camino, it's one of endurance. They are a symbol of endurance. And Advent, for anybody that really participates in church activities and family activities and business, I mean, this is a long slog, these weeks leading up to Christmas. You're trying to get your taxes ready and end of year issues, and then there's just frenetic activities in terms of festivities, and it's very exhausting. And Advent really should be more of a time where we turn inward and we focus on many different aspects that make up our soul. And what my program, the Advent with the Black Madonnas, will help you do is really anchor your soul and your spirit in ways that will help you not only during this time of Advent, but throughout the coming year. Now, the structure of this is very simple, and it's just not going to take a lot of your time because I know time is of the essence during December. So each Sunday of Advent, there will be a short webinar that you can watch live. And if you can't, it will be recorded and you can watch it at your leisure. And each week of Advent will focus on a different aspect of the journey during this sacred time. And each day, participants will receive messages for contemplation encouragement for the trials of Advent. So you'll receive things in your email box that will focus on a specific Black Madonna and a particular word of contemplation, encouragement, peace, that these are things that we really want to incorporate into our Advent experience, but often they don't. And these brief messages will help focus and set the tone of your day. So Advent is a time of reflections. It's a time of reflection on our origins. It's a time to reflect on our future. And we hope that you will join us for an enriching journey to the essence of the season and the deep cosmic meaning of Christmas. If you would like to be part of this program, please register, and the link is below this video. It's very simple. You just need a name and an email. And then we'll start our journey together. And I want to send you blessings on your Advent journey. Your journey of Advent with the Black Madonna.